had my name tag on and he had his on, and we both shared the same last name. Okay, so we had a handshake, and where are you from? From Louisiana. And I said, I'm from Illinois.
Wow.
He said, we can perhaps have an exchange of how we got to where we are. And I'm sure we're cousins. So I said, well, perhaps we are. And I left it at that. About a year later, okay, I was in Germany, again attending it was a conference being held. And it had to be at the facility where he was as a speaker at a group meeting. And I happened to be in that meeting. We had a handshake before the meeting started, and he introduced me to the group. Okay, I'd just like to introduce Colonel Milburn, my cousin.
Wow.
So I stood up and waved to the group and sat down. Well, during the break, several white guys came up to me and said, hey, are you really his cousin? I said, well, we can't disprove it. So, yes, if he says so, we are.
That's it.
Okay. So, anyway, it's just to show the connect, okay, what happened back in the 1800s and even now.
And I got a question, as far as any, what did you guys do for entertainment at that time, and were there any singers or people with music? Because I seen something on YouTube. We had a cousin, I think it was
Zydeco player.
Yeah, Zydeco player.
Okay. Well, for entertainment in the Tesh community, the school and the church did things like we have what we call Moonlight Fair.
Okay.
Okay, where we raise money. I mean, the people baked cakes and made ice cream and pies and fried chicken and fried fish and sold that to all the comers to the Moonlight Fair or Saturday evening picnic or something that was held at the church. Or we had a large pasture in front of our house, okay, where there was a common place for the Moonlight Fairs because they set up booths to sell stuff, and one was a penny board, they called it. You put a board out with numbers on it, and you throw pennies on, and if you hit a number 5, you got 5 pennies back. But if you threw a nickel on, then you got 5 nickels back. Or if you were throwing a quarter, if you had a quarter.
So they started a whole gambling operation way back then.
Oh, way back then, you see. And the Moonlight Fairs, okay, we raised money for the church, or if we had things at some of the things at the school to raise money for the school. Okay, and that was the entertainment, and we also had dances at the school. Okay, and you paid a nickel to go in, or if a dime if you were going with a couple. Okay, with the family, and we had Zydeco players. I mean, the guys would play the guitar or the accordion and the washboard. Okay, and so we had 3 or 4 musicians, okay, which would play music, okay, and for the Zydeco, and this was a way of raising money for the school, okay, by having dances at the school. And all the church members were dancing at the school, but they wouldn't dance at the church.
That sound like today.
Okay. All right. So, and that was the entertainment. And one big event, okay, was celebrated the 19th of June. Okay.
19th of June, which
19th
is
of June.
like Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. That was
Okay.
That was a big celebration, and it was done at our house in the Tesh community for the whole community. But it kind of evolved as being the time when the Milburn family got together, because
now, that's interesting that it was Juneteenth then, and it was just recognized, like in Galveston as Juneteenth, when they, they recognize in Galveston as Juneteenth being like, when slavery was free. But it's interesting that we were celebrating it then
Oh,
in Louisiana.
well, I have a picture. I think I was about 4 or 5 years old. If I could find me in the crowd,
Mm.
that was made. That was made back in the 30s. Okay, early 30s.
Wow.
That's the picture. But I said, I can remember celebrating June 19th. The 19th of June was a big celebration. Well, kind of honestly, I thought it was because they claimed the crops, the farm crops had been laid by, which meant that you were waiting for the harvest before you did any more work in the field. So, okay,
Wow, the harvest. So that was a time of the harvest.
no, the crops had been laid by.
Laid by, okay.
Laid by, which meant you didn't have to go out to hoe, take weeds out, or plow anymore. And you waited for the 1st of July to start picking cotton, harvesting. And anyway, 19th of June was celebrated then. So, but we had a way of entertaining in the community. Every month there was something going on to entertain the people, either a dance at the school or moonlight fair. And we loved, well, as kids, we loved the moonlight fair because we played Ring Around the Roses or something, or let in the post office, let in the mailbox.
Wow, and and that right there is powerful. Now I'm kind of wonder what each person did. Like
Okay.
what each person did.
Okay.
I think that would be good.
Okay. All.
Want to start from this way or this side?
Well, start from okay. Start from the oldest, because
right here.
All Earl. Okay, he was a farmer, personified, because he studied farming under the county agent, which was our cousin Leon Robinson. He and Brother Clessy would take on special projects, with new seeds and new plants and something new in the agricultural area. Okay. So they were, and both Brother Earl and Brother Clessy lived on. They were tenants on the farm that my mother and father owned, that 87 acres. Now, both Brother Clessy and Brother Earl had their own farms, small farms, about 40, 45, or 50 acres.
Wow.
And Curtis Brother Curtis, I think, lived on Brother Earl's farm.
Is this Brother Curtis?
No, that's Brother Clessy.
Okay.
He and Brother Earl lived on our farm. Curtis, the next one in line. Curtis lived on Brother Earl's farm, as a tenant. And Sister Zilda and her husband, Brother Reuben, also lived on Brother Earl's farm. And
where's Zilda?
Zilda is the first by your thumb there, whatever. That's Sister Zilda. She was married to Reuben the preacher.
Gotcha. Okay,
she and Brother Reuben and Curtis and Sister Luella lived on Brother Earl's farm. Now your grandfather Rodney, he lived with us on the big farm until he decided he was going to be a carpenter, and then he moved to Texas. Roy, when he and Henry, that's Roy, and just under him is Henry. They were drafted in the Army. So they went to the Army, and when they came back from the Army, both got married, and Roy farmed a while, and then he moved to Texas. And Henry went to radio tech school in New Orleans at Xavier University, and he moved to New Orleans, and he became a radio TV technician.
Who did that?
Henry, that one.
This one?
No, that one, yes.
Radio TV technician.
Yes.
Wow. We
And
definitely have a lot of them in our family
so
too.
he had a business in New Orleans where he repaired TVs and sold TVs and radios. Okay. And Roy moved to Texas. Roy became a truck driver. Okay, for a big wholesale outfit. Okay. And that was his career. He gave up farming,
Okay.
after 1 year, and then he decided he wanted to do something else.
Truck.
Yeah, okay.
All right. And what about, did we do him yet?
Murphy, Brother Clessy, okay, stayed. He farmed all of his life.
Okay.
He and Brother Earl. Now
All
Murphy,
right.
just under Brother Clessy there. Okay, Murphy, okay, moved to Texas. Murphy became a truck driver also. Okay, he drove truck for this wholesale company in Houston. Okay.
That's good. Okay. Now,
Now,
what about, what about?
okay, on the boys, okay, Sydney, okay, Sydney and I Sydney went to college and ahead of me by 2 years, and I followed him in college.
To what college?
Southern University. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Uncle Russell went there too.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, he did.
Uncle Russell, Al.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sidney was drafted in the Army when he finished college in 1950, and he was drafted in.
They made him go to the Army even though he went to college?
Oh yeah, he was drafted for Korea. It was a hot war. Okay.
Okay.
So he was drafted and went to Korea. Okay, and he got injured. Okay, in Korea.
Then now, what about you? We got to get you.
Okay, well, let me finish with Sidney. When Sidney came back, when he got out of the service, he went to veterinary school.
Okay.
And he became a veterinarian in South Dakota. Okay, so his life was spent being a veterinarian in South Dakota, and he was quite renowned there and did well. And his wife, he married, was also an educator. She taught in high school and university in South Dakota. Okay. Okay. With me, okay, I followed Sidney in college. Didn't do as well as he did academically. I did okay. I got my degree in agriculture because I thought I was going to go back and convert the Tisch community into an agricultural enterprise.
Wow.
I was going to buy up all those farms.
Brilliant.
And that was my intent. But
brilliant.
But the Korea War was still on, and I got a commission, so I got drafted. Well, I was called to active duty within 30 days of my getting my commission because Korea was hot. Okay. This was in 1953. So I came in the military, which was mandatory for me at that time, to stay for 2 years. And I was going to come back and teach in order to get started and have a salary. But the job that was promised to me as a teacher was given to somebody else while I was away in the military.
Wow, so you were going to teach too?
Yeah, I was going to teach, yes. But
and that's interesting. I was a teacher for 7 years. That's so interesting how, you know, the older and the younger just connect. Wow.
Yeah, but the military made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, so I stayed on for a few more years. Okay, and
awesome.
So I stayed in the military for 22 years.
Wow, thank you for your service. Wow, 22 years.
Yeah, but when I got out and went to Civil Service, and stayed there.
What is that?
No, working for the government.
Okay.
For the federal government.
In D.C.
In D.C., yeah.
Okay.
I went to the U.S. Department of Transportation